Denver's mayor is extending the city's contract with car tracking cameras. He made the decision solo, blindsiding a task force created to help make these exact decisions.
So our job is not to listen to any one person on the extremes of a debate.
Governor Polis wants Coloradans to help low-income families get through the government shutdown.
We are also calling upon our fellow Coloradans to donate to help bridge that gap.
It may be time to change your dinner routine now that Xcel Energy is adjusting when it charges more for electricity.
I try to use my electricity during the off-peak times just to save money.
And you can help us provide a safety net for veterans and their families across Colorado. Because this is next. The car tracking flock cameras all around Denver are so useful to police, there was really never a chance that the mayor would shut them off. Today, the city announced a new contract to continue using them into next year. The mayor unilaterally made the decision himself, going around city council as well as a task force that was created to help make these decisions. They'd also raised concerns about immigration enforcement and how the data is used. I sat down with the mayor today as he touts a new contract he says will protect privacy while also improving safety. Why would anybody want to sit on a task force that was designed and implemented to help guide the city in reaching new contracts if then you're going to turn around and just unilaterally extend those contracts by yourself?
Oh, a task force is designed to give feedback. A task force does not delegate the executive power of the city to a member that sits on a task force. That was never the case. That was never communicated. That was never expected. So our job is not to listen to any one person on the extremes of a debate, to listen to the great bulk of people in the middle of it and find a path forward, and we think this does that.
The mayor says the new contract with Flock locks down Denver's data. If another police department in the state or around the country wants to access it, they need to sign a memo saying they'll play by Denver's rules. That means no sharing data with federal agents for civil immigration enforcement. Denver promises to sue if they do. And Flock will face a $100,000 fine each time they share any data. If you were to shut off the cameras, if you said we are going to let this contract lapse at the end of this month, which you didn't, what would be at stake? What do you think the city of Denver would lose?
I think we would see increases in auto theft. I think we would see increases in violent crime. If you have been a victim of a shooting or of an aggravated robbery, or you have had your car jacked and your child is in the back seat, do you want us to say, sorry, we have 111 cameras that could track where your child is in that car, but we chose to turn them off? Because a small number of folks were worried about a privacy risk that has never happened in this city before. That would be irresponsible. And so we won't do that.
Critics include council members like Sarah Parody. Today she called it a backdoor deal with Flock, saying there's been no public process and no vote from city council or input from his own task force. Councilmember Flora Alvidre said she's tired of seeing major public safety decisions made behind council's back. Johnston was able to sign the new contract without city council approval because he says the cost is zero. You and I both know, probably you better than I, that nothing is free in this world. Why is this free, so to speak? Yeah. What do they get in return? Why did the company say, yeah, Denver, don't pay us a dime?
Well, they obviously would like to be our partner long-term. They'd like to be our vendor long-term. And so they would like to be able to earn a contract that would be an extension.
Some people might say, well, the mayor moved forward with this plan because it's under $500,000 and doesn't need the approval of city council to move forward with that. Is that true?
No, I move forward with this because it's my job to keep the city safe. It's my job to hear community feedback on what we can improve and to make changes to that.
So we're told that several agencies outside of Denver have already approached the city asking how can they sign on to the new deal so that they can get access to Denver's data. That's happened on the first day already. That list of agencies, however, does not include Loveland Police. Much of the conversation on immigration agents gaining access to these cameras started up in Loveland. Back in June, we discovered here on Next that Loveland Police had given ATF agents access to their Flock account, and those agents then ran searches for ICE. Then in August, we found records showing Loveland was sharing access to their camera data with Border Patrol. Denver then cut off Loveland's access to its cameras. We reached out to the Loveland Police Department this evening to see if they plan to sign Denver's new agreement. We haven't heard back yet. As the government shutdown enters its fourth week with no real end in sight, the state is now working on a way to keep families who rely on food stamps fed. SNAP benefits have been suspended for November for about 600,000 Coloradans around the state. Democratic Governor Jared Polis is asking the state's Joint Budget Committee to approve $10 million from the state general fund to support food banks. He's also asking to extend funding for women, infants, and children's nutrition access. Pula says that money will last through mid-December. The state is also asking Coloradans and businesses as well to donate to Feeding Colorado, and that money will go to food banks and pantries as well. SNAP usually distributes about $120 million in the state, but food banks can now get that food for cheaper by buying in bulk.
So that $10 million, for instance, would likely buy the retail equivalent of $40 or $50 million worth of food. So there is still a significant gap in food between 120 million and 50 million. And we hope that our fellow Coloradans also donate to help address that gap.
If the government shutdown ends during the next 6 weeks, the state emergency funding would also end at that time. Well, get ready to start changing your habits, perhaps. Xcel Energy is about to change the time of day when energy is most expensive. That's when you are cooking dinner, doing homework, playing video games, and even watching this show right now. Our Marshall Zellender shows us why you may not need to freak out just yet.
It is dinner time after all. So let's cook something up.
Favorite thing to make in the air fryer is chicken thighs and potatoes.
When energy is the cheapest, like it was at 2 p.m. when we tested this out, the air fryer at 375 degrees costs 12 cents per hour. When Xcel changes peak rates to be most expensive from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. starting November 1st, this dinner will cost about 32 cents per hour.
After I'm done cooking something, I'll take a look in the app just to see what it costs, but I won't watch it in the live timeline.
Blake Colonel works for Emporia, a Littleton-based company that helps electric customers track their usage in real time.
I try to use my electricity during the off-peak times just to save money.
Appliances like your washer-dryer, your AC, and EV chargers are going to be the biggest use of electricity that should be avoided during the new peak times. Cooking dinner in an air fryer, an oven, or microwave is not going to be the thing that spikes your bill like your dryer might.
These smaller appliances, like an air fryer, you shouldn't have to change your schedule as long as you're offsetting your energy on those higher usage appliances.
The new off-peak times are 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. during the week and all day on weekends and holidays. The new peak time shifts from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. to the new 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. If that schedule seems like a surprise, like the faces these outlets make, it was actually supposed to start at the beginning of October. Xcel asked state regulators for a delay 1 month to get its comparison tool online. Xcel customers can log into their account and go to the comparison tool, which shows what their bill estimate would be over the next year under the new time of use rates, compared to an opt-out rate. For my example, the tool says if I opt out to a flat rate, I'd likely pay $180 more. Who else sees faces in inanimate objects like I do? A spokesperson for the PUC, the state regulators, told me that the estimate you just saw is based on my previous year's usage under the new math. But the website does not say that or show you the math. The change of time of use peak time periods is supposed to be revenue neutral, Mark, meaning your bill shouldn't change, just your habits.
I feel like we talked about changing things a lot, shifting it a couple hours one way or the other, but we never talked about, hey, it's going to be cheaper for everybody.
Right, I've always asked, like, why are we shifting money around? When are you going to make the bill less? And the answer I've received over the last 2 years of coverage is that these changes, when you entice people to not use energy, when everyone's using energy, it prevents Xcel from perhaps having to build more, which then costs everybody more. So basically, not seeing your bill go up is your bill going down.
Make it make sense, sure.
I know.
Let's see that face one more time, the outlet face. Yeah, there you go. Marshall's outlet face. Appreciate your reporting, thank you. Hey, week after week, your generosity helps nonprofits carry out important work across the state. Today, we have the opportunity to help provide a safety net for our military community. Here's Kyle with an update on this week's Word of Thanks.
The government shutdown has created uncertainty for military families in Colorado. That's not the deal they made when they signed up to serve. But there is a little something we can do to help. This week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign supports the Homefront Military Network. That nonprofit based in Colorado provides a safety net for veterans and their families across this state, offering emergency financial assistance paired with one-on-one help to determine whether those vets and their families need any long-term assistance to get past the crisis in their life. They often come in for help when issues will stack up for a family, like a medical problem plus a car breakdown. Homefront Military Network helps those military families cover their rent or pay utility bills, put food on the table, or get connected with what they need for longer-term support, like mental health counseling or caregiver support. Their leaders told me that they are seeing more military families feeling stressed given the shutdown. They told me the people who don't usually struggle are worried right now. So let's help our neighbors. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 to get that link to donate. Your 5 years of microgiving raising $16 million proves that $5 donations really do add up, and I'll never ask you to give alone. As always, I'll match the first 50 donations of $5 to get us rolling. More than 6,000 of you have signed up to make a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. You put in your info one time, and each month an automatic donation is split among all the nonprofits we feature, so you get to help everybody. And that's added an additional $30,000 to our recent weekly microgiving campaigns. Thank you.
Coming up, Colorado's governor still wants to share data on some families in Colorado with ICE, despite skepticism from a judge.
They were like, here's your kid, here's this stuff, figure it out.
A mom raised concerns about the treatment of her son at a Colorado mental health center. Then they said he had to go. Governor Jared Polis is standing by his intention to comply with a subpoena from ICE. Polis says turning over data from dozens of families would help the feds with a human trafficking investigation that he says they're working on. A judge, though, has been skeptical of those claims and already blocked some state employees from releasing information to immigration agents. ICE wants information from Colorado on about 35 adults caring for unaccompanied minors who are in the country without legal status. Former state employees sued, arguing that state law kept them from gathering and providing that information. So back in July, a Denver judge sided with that employee, barring them from turning over the information. In response, the governor's lawyer wrote he would still like to provide some of the information to ICE. The governor says for him, it's a nonpartisan issue.
We are deeply committed to fighting human trafficking, and when the federal government, especially the criminal investigative unit of ICE, wants our help investigating human trafficking, we are happy to help. And that's whether Biden is the president, whether Trump's the president, it doesn't matter.
Subpoena Polis wants to comply with is not signed by a judge and doesn't provide any specifics about the investigation. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, from October of last year through September, more than 400 unaccompanied children without legal status have been released to sponsors in this state. Switching now to the weather, Chris Bianchi. But no, Crispy. Are you going to be Crispy Donkey again for Halloween? Well, is it going to be like one of those Halloweens where you need the full donkey costume, or is it a little bit less this year?
Probably a little less. I've got your early Halloween outlook for you here, Mark, and I think it's going to be a little bit on the drier and mild side. This is, now granted, we're talking a full 9 days out, so this is subject to change, but it's trending on the dry and warm side for us in the Denver area for Halloween itself. Now, in the near-term future, starting to see a little cloud cover move its way into the mountains, and that is our next storm system. This will bring us some rain showers starting late tonight, but more in earnest for tomorrow. Then that rain and snow will spread north and east as we head through tomorrow night and to Friday morning, with a quick hit of snow likely late tomorrow night and early on Friday morning for us in the mountains. Here in Denver, more clouds and sun tomorrow. High temperature right near 70 degrees. We'll have a few showers around tomorrow after dark. Temperatures 60s, 70s across the eastern part of the state, 50s and 60s in the high country. And that 7-day forecast, we're generally in the 60s and 70s over the next few days, but we got a more notable cool down for the early part of next week, which could include some rain showers and, again, a notable cool down for the early part of next week.
Chris, thank you. A mom is trying to find a new mental health treatment center for her son after he was suddenly kicked out. A Colorado mother says her son has been kicked out of a mental health treatment center after she raised concerns about how he was being treated there. We aired some of those concerns here on Next about a couple weeks ago, after a report from Disability Law Colorado pointed to elevated instances of child restraint at a facility in Canyon City. Evan Krugel caught up with them today.
Southern Peaks in Canyon City is back in the spotlight tonight after Brandy Fogel says her son Channing was kicked out 2 weeks after she spoke out against how often he was being restrained at the mental health facility.
It hurts. That's terrible. Kids should not be restrained like that. If I did that, I would be in jail.
That story aired on October 9th after disability law released a report highlighting high levels of restraint use at the facility. Now more parents are coming forward.
I am not surprised at all on some of the accusations and the concerns that are coming out about them.
I'm so glad the story came out, the report came out, because now other families can do more diligent research or be more transparently shown what's occurring at the facility and maybe not send their kiddo there, because something has to change.
Brandy says she's been trying to move Channing to a different facility, but says that decision was made for her when she went to pick him up for a birthday party yesterday.
They had all his stuff packed and told me that they were releasing him. And when I told them that there's no discharge plan in place or anything, they let me know that that was my problem.
Brandy believes it's a direct response to speaking out.
I 100% believe it's because I stood up for my son and the other children in that facility and what is happening there.
She's now questioning the legality of the discharge, considering state law appears to require a transition plan and alternative placement.
It's heartbreaking that somebody feels the solution to this problem, to the issues that are happening down there, are to silence the parents. Right now, I'm kind of just stuck, waiting to hear from people, waiting to see what we can do. Again, there's not a lot of options.
Brandy says Channing is now at home with her while she waits to figure out if she can enroll him in school or maybe send him to another treatment center. Southern Peaks did not return our requests for additional comment today. A state spokesperson with the Department of Human Services also declined to offer any specifics on this case, citing privacy laws. Mark?
So, Evan, obviously hard to get information. How do we know what the state is doing to investigate if they won't answer a whole lot of questions?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Mark. The state keeps telling us they can't comment on specific situations, but of course they work very closely with this treatment center. So they're sending us statements saying all the nice things this treatment center is doing, and then at the bottom saying if they discover anything wrong that's going on, they will handle that appropriately. But exactly what the state is doing to investigate this right now remains a bit of a mystery.
And we'll keep asking those questions. I know you will, Evan. Appreciate your reporting. Thank you. We're back with your feedback next.
This week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign supports families who serve in Colorado. Homefront Military Network helps veterans and their families with their emergency needs, as well as long-term assistance to solve more persistent challenges in their lives. And that nonprofit tells me they are seeing more uncertainty and need with the government shutdown. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to join me and a bunch of other Coloradans in supporting their work. Even $5 helps. They serve veterans in every corner of Colorado, and they can help more of our neighbors who serve through your generous support. Thank you.
Your feedback tonight is all over the spectrum today. Thomas emails saying, I was wondering if you could tell me where you got your jacket from tonight's broadcast. We're getting married next year, and that shade of blue would match our wedding colors perfectly. Thank you, Thomas. We appreciate that. I'm just, trying to take after Kyle. But clearly, I'm not doing a very good job of it, according to Krisha, who says, Kyle, you're not working today. Our replacement is okay, but not too great. No snark. Too nice. All right, I'll work on being less nice.